My dear friends, I come to you today with a message that has transformed not only my own life, but the lives of countless souls who have dared to believe in the power of the spoken word. I stand before you as living proof that what we declare with faith and conviction becomes our reality. I am a multimillionaire, not because of luck or circumstance, but because I spoke it into law through the divine principle that governs all creation. You see, many years ago, I discovered something that changed everything. I was walking through a difficult season, as so many of you may be walking through now. My pockets were empty, my prospects dim, and the world seemed to offer nothing but closed doors. But within me, there was a stirring, a divine whisper that said there was another way. That whisper became my salvation. It taught me that the universe operates on definite spiritual laws, as precise and reliable as any physical law you might study in a laboratory. And the most powerful of these laws is the law of the spoken word, united with unwavering faith. I began to study this principle deeply, and I watched it work miracles in my life and in the lives of others. I saw people rise from poverty to prosperity, from sickness to health, from despair to joy, all because they learned to speak their good into existence. This is not wishful thinking, my dear friends. This is sacred science. This is the way the divine mind works through us to manifest our highest good. Let me tell you something fundamental about prosperity. Most people believe that money comes from external sources, from employers, from clients, from investments, from inheritance. But this is a misconception that keeps them bound to limitation. Money is not the source. The divine intelligence within you is the source. Money is merely the manifestation, the physical evidence of the spiritual abundance that already exists in the invisible realm. When you understand this, everything changes. I remember the day I first declared with full conviction, I am a multimillionaire. My outer circumstances had not changed one bit. My bank account was still nearly empty. But something within me knew that I was speaking a truth that existed in the spiritual dimension, waiting to take form in the physical world. I was not lying. I was not pretending. I was declaring what was already mine in the realm of infinite possibilities. You must understand that the invisible world is just as real as the visible world, perhaps more so. Everything you see around you, every building, every invention, every work of art, first existed as an invisible thought, an idea in someone's mind. The physical universe is the outpicturing of consciousness. Therefore, when you change your consciousness, you change your world. When you speak words of prosperity with faith, you are literally setting spiritual forces into motion that must, by law, produce corresponding results in your physical experience. Now, I want to speak to you about the power of the words I am. These are perhaps the most sacred words you can utter. For when you say I am, you are invoking the creative power of the divine within you. You are not just describing yourself, you are defining yourself. You are calling forth that which you declare yourself to be. When I say I am a multimillionaire, I am not speaking about some future possibility. I am speaking about a present reality that is manifesting itself more completely with each passing moment. Many people make the mistake of saying, I will be prosperous someday, or I hope to be wealthy. But hope is not faith, and the future is always just beyond reach. The universe responds to present tense declarations. It responds to certainty, not uncertainty. When you say I am, you close the gap between desire and fulfillment. You claim your good now, in this moment. And the law immediately begins to work to bring your outer circumstances into alignment with your inner conviction. I have witnessed the most remarkable demonstrations of this principle. I knew a woman who came to me years ago, burdened with debt, worried about how she would feed her children. She had been affirming lack, speaking words of limitation, saying things like, "I can't afford this," and "I'll never have enough." Her words were creating her reality. I taught her to change her words, to change her consciousness. I told her to begin affirming, "I am prospered. I am supplied. I am abundantly cared for by the divine intelligence that knows no lack." At first, she struggled. Her mind resisted. The evidence of her senses seemed to contradict her words. But I urged her to persist, to speak her truth regardless of appearances, to maintain her faith even when everything seemed impossible. And do you know what happened? Within weeks, unexpected money came to her. A relative she hadn't heard from in years sent her a generous gift. An old debt that she thought was lost was suddenly repaid. A new opportunity for employment appeared seemingly out of nowhere. Within 6 months, she was completely out of debt and living in a state of comfortable abundance. This is not an isolated incident. This is the way the law works when you work with it consciously and deliberately. The divine mind is infinitely abundant, and it seeks to express that abundance through you. But you must open the channels. You must align your consciousness with the truth of infinite supply. You must speak words that are in harmony with the divine plan of prosperity for your life. Now, I want to address something that troubles many people. They say to me, "Florence, I've tried affirmations. I've tried positive thinking, but nothing changes." And when I listen to them carefully, I discover the problem. They are speaking words of prosperity with their lips, but in their hearts, they are harboring doubt, fear, and disbelief. They are affirming abundance on Sunday and complaining about lack on Monday. They are declaring themselves to be prosperous while simultaneously worrying about bills, fretting about the future, and speaking words of limitation in casual conversation. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot speak life and death with the same tongue and expect the universe to know which you truly mean. Your words must be backed by faith, by a deep inner knowing that what you speak is true. This is not always easy. I understand that. When your bank account is empty and the bills are due, it takes tremendous courage to stand firm in the truth of your spiritual abundance. But this is exactly what you must do if you want to see transformation. Faith is not believing in spite of evidence. Faith is obeying in spite of consequence. Faith is knowing that the spiritual law is more real and more powerful than any temporary circumstance. When you truly have faith, you are not moved by appearances. You rest in the certain knowledge that the divine intelligence is working all things together for your good, and that what you have declared in faith must come to pass. Let me share with you how I personally worked with this principle when I set my intention to become a multimillionaire. First, I cleared my consciousness of all beliefs in limitation. This was essential. I had to root out every thought pattern that suggested money was hard to come by, that wealth was only for certain people, that I didn't deserve abundance, or that there wasn't enough to go around. These are all lies, illusions created by the mass consciousness of lack. The truth is that the universe is infinitely abundant, and there is more than enough for everyone. I began each day by sitting in silence and connecting with the divine presence within me. I would feel that presence, acknowledge it, and then I would speak my word. I would say with absolute conviction, "I am a multi-millionaire. Infinite abundance flows to me easily and effortlessly. I am a channel for divine prosperity. The wealth of the universe pours through me and blesses everyone I touch." I would say these words not as a request or a hope, but as a declaration of truth. I would say them until they resonated in every cell of my body, until they became part of my very being. Then, throughout the day, I was vigilant about my thoughts and my words. Whenever a thought of lack tried to enter my mind, I would immediately replace it with a thought of abundance. Whenever I was tempted to complain about money or worry about the future, I would stop myself and affirm the truth instead. I trained my consciousness to remain steadfast in prosperity consciousness, regardless of what was happening around me. And here is something crucial that many people miss. I gave thanks in advance for my multimillionaire status. I didn't wait until the money appeared to be grateful. I was grateful now, knowing that my good was already mine in the spiritual realm, and that its manifestation in the physical realm was simply a matter of time. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. When you are genuinely thankful, you are acknowledging that you have already received. You are declaring completion. And the universe must respond to that declaration by completing the demonstration in your visible world. I also took inspired action. This is important to understand. Speaking your word is not about sitting back and waiting for money to fall from the sky. It's about aligning yourself with the divine flow and then following the guidance you receive. When ideas came to me, I acted on them. When opportunities presented themselves, I said yes. When I felt led to make a connection or pursue a particular path, I followed that leading. The spoken word opens the way, but you must be willing to walk through the doors that open. I remember one particular instance when I had declared my prosperity and was holding steadfast to that truth, but I still had very little money in hand. An opportunity came to me that required a small investment, and my rational mind said, "You can't afford this. You don't have the money." But my spiritual intuition said, "This is your door. Walk through it." I had to make a choice. Would I trust the appearances of lack, or would I trust the spiritual law I had set into motion? I chose to trust the law. I found a way to make that small investment, and it became the seed that grew into tremendous abundance. That one act of faith opened a floodgate of prosperity in my life. This is what I mean by living in the consciousness of your word. You must be willing to act as if your declaration is already true, because it is already true in the realm of cause, even if it hasn't yet appeared in the realm of effect. You must move through the world as a multimillionaire would move, not in terms of reckless spending or pretending to have what you don't have, but in terms of consciousness, in terms of confidence, in terms of expecting your good to appear. Now, let me address the resistance that some of you may be feeling. You may be thinking, "But Florence, isn't this materialistic? Isn't spirituality about rising above material concerns?" Let me assure you, there is nothing unspiritual about prosperity. The divine wants you to have abundance. You are here to express the fullness of life in every dimension: spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. Money is simply energy. It is a tool for blessing yourself and others. It is a means of accomplishing good in the world. The question is not whether you should have money, but what relationship you have with money. If you worship money, if you make it your God, if you are willing to compromise your integrity to get it, then yes, you are in error. But if you understand that money is simply the manifestation of divine supply, if you receive it with gratitude and use it with wisdom, if you see it as a resource for creating beauty and blessing lives, then you are in perfect alignment with spiritual law. I have seen too many good people suffer in poverty, believing that lack was somehow noble or spiritual. I have watched wonderful souls with gifts to share with the world remain trapped in limitation because they believed that wanting prosperity was selfish. This breaks my heart because it is not the divine plan. The divine plan is for you to have everything you need to fulfill your purpose and to live in joy, health, and abundance. When you become prosperous, you lift others up with you. You become a demonstration of what is possible. You become a channel through which divine abundance can flow to many. You have the resources to support causes you believe in, to help those in need, to create beauty and opportunity in the world. There is nothing selfish about this. It is actually your spiritual responsibility to claim your abundance and use it for the highest good. Let me tell you about the invisible spiritual substance that surrounds us all. There is an infinite, inexhaustible supply of this substance in the universe. It is the raw material from which all physical things are formed. It is responsive to thought and word. It is constantly taking shape according to our consciousness. When you affirm abundance, when you declare yourself to be prosperous, when you give thanks for your wealth, you are literally molding this spiritual substance into the form of money and material resources. You are the artist, and your words and thoughts are the tools with which you shape your reality. This is why it is so important to be conscious of what you are saying, not just in your formal affirmations, but in your everyday speech. Listen to yourself talk. Are you constantly saying things like, I can't afford it, or I'm broke, or money doesn't grow on trees? Every time you speak words of lack, you are instructing the spiritual substance to take the form of limitation in your life. You are literally creating the very poverty you fear. I challenge you to go on a fast from negative words about money. For 30 days, refuse to speak any word of lack. Refuse to complain about your financial situation. Refuse to worry aloud about bills or expenses. Instead, speak only words of abundance. Affirm your prosperity at every opportunity. Give thanks for the money you have and the money that is coming to you. Bless your bills as you pay them, knowing that the money you release comes back to you multiplied. Watch what happens. I promise you, if you are faithful to this practice, you will see a shift in your circumstances. Another key principle I want to share with you is the importance of feeling prosperous now. Your feelings are powerful creative forces. When you feel poor, when you feel anxious about money, when you feel envious of others who have more, you are broadcasting a frequency of lack into the universe, and the universe must respond by sending you more experiences of lack. But when you feel prosperous, when you feel secure and abundant and grateful, you are broadcasting a frequency of wealth, and the universe responds by bringing you more wealth. How do you feel prosperous when your bank account says otherwise? You use your imagination. You dwell on thoughts of abundance. You remember times when you had plenty. You anticipate the good that is coming to you. You look at beautiful things and say, I am surrounded by abundance. You enjoy the wealth that is freely available to everyone, the beauty of nature, the love of friends, the richness of life itself. When you cultivate this feeling of prosperity, you are preparing the soil of your consciousness to receive the seeds of material abundance. I want you to understand that becoming a multimillionaire is not just about accumulating a certain amount of money. It is about embodying a consciousness of infinite supply. It is about knowing, beyond any shadow of doubt, that you are always cared for, always provided for, always flowing in the abundant river of divine supply. When you have this consciousness, money comes easily and naturally. You don't have to strain or struggle. You simply allow the divine flow to move through you. I have lived this truth for many years now, and I can tell you that life in prosperity consciousness is utterly different from life in lack consciousness. When you know you are always supplied, you are free. You are free from anxiety, free from fear, free from the stress that comes from wondering how you will make ends meet. You move through life with grace and ease, trusting that every need is met the moment it arises, and often before. This doesn't mean you never face challenges or that everything is always perfect. It means that even in the midst of challenges, you remain anchored in the truth of infinite supply. You know that every problem carries within it the seed of its own solution. You know that the same divine intelligence that created the challenge will show you the way through it. You know that you are never alone and never unsupported. Let me speak now about the divine timing of manifestation. Sometimes people become discouraged because they speak their word, and nothing seems to happen immediately. They declare themselves to be prosperous, but the next day they still have the same bills and the same limited bank account. They wonder if the law is really working. Let me assure you, the law is always working. The moment you speak your word with faith, the wheels of manifestation begin to turn. But there is often a time lag between the speaking and the physical manifestation. This time lag serves a purpose. It gives you the opportunity to build your faith, to strengthen your consciousness, to prove that you trust the law regardless of appearances. It is during this time that you must hold steady. You must refuse to be moved by what you see or don't see. You must continue to affirm your truth, to give thanks, to act as if your word is already fulfilled, because it is already fulfilled in the invisible realm. I have found that demonstrations often come in unexpected ways and at unexpected times. You might declare prosperity and then receive a gift, or find money you forgot you had, or be offered a new opportunity, or have a debt forgiven. The divine intelligence is infinitely creative in the ways it brings your good to you. Your job is not to dictate how your prosperity will come. Your job is simply to maintain the consciousness of prosperity and allow the universe to surprise and delight you with its perfect provision. There is also the matter of clearing away the old to make room for the new. Sometimes, before great abundance can flow into your life, you need to release old patterns, old beliefs, old relationships, or situations that are no longer serving you. This can be uncomfortable. It can feel like things are falling apart. But often, what is really happening is that the universe is clearing the channels so that something far better can flow in. When you are going through such a time, remember that every ending is a new beginning. Trust the process. Know that something wonderful is being prepared for you. I want to speak to you about giving, because it is an essential part of the prosperity principle. Many people think that when they have little, they cannot afford to give. But this is backwards thinking. Giving is not something you do after you become prosperous. Giving is how you become prosperous. When you give, you are demonstrating faith in infinite supply. You are declaring that there is more than enough, that you are a channel of abundance, not a reservoir hoarding what little you have. The divine law is that you must give in order to receive. You must pour out in order to be filled up. You must circulate energy in order to keep it flowing. When you give freely and joyfully, whether it is money, time, talent, or love, you are opening yourself to receive. You are telling the universe that you trust in its abundance, and the universe always honors that trust. I have made it a practice to give a portion of everything I receive back into circulation, often to spiritual work or to causes that uplift humanity. I do this not out of obligation, but out of joy and gratitude. I do it knowing that as I give, I am making room for more good to flow into my life. And I can tell you that I have never, ever regretted a single gift I have given. The universe has always returned to me far more than I have given out, pressed down and overflowing. Now, as we come toward the close of our time together today, I want to leave you with some very practical guidance. If you truly want to demonstrate multi-millionaire consciousness, if you want to speak your prosperity into law as I have done, here is what you must do. First, make a definite decision. Decide now that you are going to accept and claim your abundance. Decide that you are done with poverty consciousness, done with limitation, done with struggle. Make this decision firmly and finally, and refuse to go back on it no matter what happens. Second, create your declaration. Write out a clear statement of your prosperity in the present tense. It might be something like, I am a multi-millionaire. I am abundantly supplied with everything I need and desire. Infinite wealth flows to me from expected and unexpected sources. I am prospered beyond my wildest dreams. Whatever words resonate with you, write them down, and make them your daily affirmation. Third, speak your declaration with feeling and conviction every single day. Speak it when you wake up in the morning. Speak it before you go to sleep at night. Speak it whenever you think of it during the day. Speak it until it becomes part of your subconscious mind, until it is more real to you than any outer circumstance. Fourth, refuse to contradict your word. Guard your speech carefully. Do not allow words of lack or limitation to pass your lips. When you are tempted to complain or worry, stop yourself immediately and affirm the truth instead. Remember, every word is a seed that will produce a harvest. Plant only good seeds. Fifth, cultivate the feeling of prosperity. Use your imagination to feel what it would be like to be abundantly supplied. Enjoy that feeling. Dwell in it. Let it permeate your consciousness. The feeling is the power that attracts the manifestation. Sixth, give thanks continuously. Be grateful for what you have now. Be grateful for what is coming to you. Be grateful for the divine intelligence that is orchestrating your good. Gratitude opens the door for more blessings to enter. Seventh, follow your divine guidance. When ideas come to you, when opportunities present themselves, when you feel led to take action, do it. Don't let fear or doubt hold you back. Trust that the same intelligence that gave you the idea will show you how to bring it to fruition. And finally, be patient and persistent. Don't give up if you don't see immediate results. The law is working. Your good is on its way. Hold steady in faith, and you will see the demonstration. My dear friends, I am a multi-millionaire today because I believed in these principles and applied them faithfully. I spoke my prosperity into law, and the universe responded. The same law that worked for me will work for you. You have within you right now everything you need to create a life of magnificent abundance. You have the power of the spoken word. You have the divine intelligence guiding you. You have the infinite substance of the universe ready to take form according to your faith. Do not look at your current circumstances and say, "This is all I can ever have." Look beyond the visible to the invisible realm where all things are possible. See yourself as the divine sees you, prosperous, abundant, blessed in every way. Claim that vision as your truth. Speak it into law, and watch as your world transforms to match the pattern of your faith. I leave you today with this blessing. May you know, truly know in the depths of your being, that you are a beloved child of the Most High, heir to all the riches of the kingdom. May you speak your word with power and confidence. May you stand firm in faith regardless of appearances. And may you soon experience the glorious demonstration of the abundance that is your divine birthright. You are prosperous now. You are supplied now. You are blessed beyond measure. This is the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Go forth now and claim your abundance. Speak your prosperity into law. The universe is listening, and it will respond. I am a multi-millionaire because I spoke it into law, and so can you. May your demonstration be swift and complete. May your life overflow with every good thing. And may you use your abundance to bless the world and bring joy to all whose lives you touch. This is my prayer for you today and always.